You are no longer where you used to be, but you are everywhere I am. Victor Hugo.
The end of the world at the palm of my hand. When it all goes to hell.
The edginess of the morning sun announces its early arrival, peering in through your bedroom shades. As soon as you awake, having barely slept, you notice the emptiness. No one to hold. The sunbeams reveal the lazy layers of dust floating gently on the rising dawn. With it come the memories, lying there in the stillness of the moment. In the morning tranquility, Emily pushes herself towards you, the ebb and flow of her breath so soft and warm and inviting. The absence of her citrus fragrance embedded in your mind, leaves a lingering void. It had been 2 weeks since the accident, 2 weeks without her presence, devoid of laughter and ways beauty don't and die tenderness linger there. The scent of her skin, the warmth of her body, the caress of her lips. You're not sure if you can live without her, and the numbness spreads all around, akin to a fog in the middle of the night, covering everything in its path. You search for her in vain, a closeness you can't let go of. Her presence is right there with you, if only faintly, a tangible resonance longing for intimacy. The absence subsides and, quite unexpectedly, you experience something other than sadness and anger. Sarah's photo taken from the attic in some strange way is giving you another purpose. Jeff will be executed in 5 days. An interview with the detainee before his execution would have been ideal, but altogether impossible. Unfortunately, due to the administrative procedures, it's impossible to obtain visitation rights on such short notice. While doing research on a former novel called Brain Dead, you visited with Louis Price, a notorious prisoner incarcerated for theft and embezzlement. You wanted to know more about his psychology, the kind of person who could do such a thing. But it took you more than a month for all the processing to go through. A prison pass isn't always an easy thing to obtain, and Price wasn't even on death row. The ticking of the clock comes and goes, dispersing among the murmurs in the hallway. As the day drags on, Sarah remains uppermost in your mind. But what if the gateway has already closed?
Hello? Jacob, are you there?
Sarah! Hello, Jacob. I was afraid you weren't coming back. Sarah, listen to me. We don't have much time. I did some research on Jeff last night. And? You're not gonna like this. You're not gonna like this at all. But there's little doubt now. It was him. Jeff is the murderer. What are you talking about, Jacob? I know Jeff is violent on occasion and sometimes stupid, but I'm telling you he would never hurt me. Believe me, I'm sure of it. Sarah, he's at Ethan Moore Prison, on death row. What are you talking about, Jacob? You told me that my murderer was never found. That's right, Sarah, but that's not why he's behind bars. He's in prison for murdering his wife, Lisa Hall, in 2002. Sarah? Lisa, I know this person. I know her well. We were friends in elementary school, but we lost touch with each other later on. What you're telling me is hard to process, Jacob. It's terrible. Do you believe me? Yes, of course I believe you. But I don't understand. It's not possible. And yet it's true. Sarah, listen. You can't trust this guy. You mustn't let him come near you. Wait a minute, Jacob. What exactly happened to Lisa? How did she die? I don't have the details. In the article, it only mentions that she was murdered at close range, just like you. It's impossible. Why impossible? He killed you and then murdered his wife several years later. It's in him, Sarah, and it's more than enough evidence as far as I'm concerned. That isn't evidence, Jacob. It's not. It doesn't prove that Jeff murdered me. Do you have another explanation? No, I don't. But I find it hard to believe that Jeff would be capable of murder. Not only is he a murderer, but he's a repeat offender. Please, Sarah, you're in denial. He's the only man in your life, and we now know for sure that he killed his wife. There's no doubt about it. None. I don't know. Shit. I'm sorry, Sarah. I really am.
Leave me alone, Jacob.
Her voice cracks, the sadness coming in sobs. It's okay, Sarah. I apologize, Jacob. It's not your fault. Shit. I'm such a mess right now. For now, the important thing is that you don't approach him under any circumstances. Keep him at bay. I was supposed to see him tomorrow night. I know. It seems as though the only person who remembers my birthday is a cold-blooded murderer. Well, almost the only person. Kelly came by earlier today, and she brought me a birthday cake. Are you referring to Kelly, your neighbor? Yes, exactly. Just for the occasion, she came with her husband, Scott. She won't be in the village tomorrow because Scott is receiving treatments in Bennington. By the way, he's not looking too good these days. I'm not sure if I would have recognized him if he passed him on the street. He's losing too much weight. I don't think he's coming out of this. Unfortunately, he'll probably end up on the wrong side of the grass pretty soon. Listen, Sarah, if you don't let Jeff approach you, you'll still have plenty of birthdays left to enjoy, with plenty of people to celebrate them with.
You're nice, Jacob. You're a good person. I'm sure of it.
It's nice of you to say, but you don't really know me. It's true, not much, but a little. For instance, I know that, unlike me, you believe in God. But you do believe in fate, and that your old dog went by the name of Slipper. I know that you're very lonely, and that you don't sing very well. Why don't you tell me a little more about yourself? It's not important at this time. Please, Jacob, I know our time is short, and that the clock is ticking. But I promise we'll be careful tomorrow, and I won't go to the restaurant with him, okay? Just tell me about yourself, even a little. What do you want to know? Your wife, Emily? What was she like? She was wonderful. To tell you the truth, I've always been a disorganized mess. But Emily kept things together. We complemented each other. She was my anchor, and she's gone now, and I'm afraid that without her, I'll always be adrift. And all because of that bastard Billy White. Billy White? The man who caused the accident? The drunk driver who killed my wife and my unborn child. And in 3 days, pending trial, he'll be released. And I don't plan on letting that happen. What do you mean, Jacob? What do you plan on doing? I'm going to intercept him when he leaves the courthouse, and Liam going to kill him. Jacob, this is madness. The courthouse will be teeming with people. You'll get caught for sure. Along with the myriad of onlookers, there's bound to be tons of journalists there, not to mention police officers. Billy White, even if he's found guilty on all charges, will be sentenced to what, 5 years in prison for destroying my family? Do you think that's fair? I know there's going to be a lot of people there, but I have a gun, and I intend on emptying the magazine in this fool before being caught. Jacob, no. You'll be killed. The police will be armed to the teeth, and if by some miracle they don't shoot you dead, you'll be imprisoned. In either case, it's a death sentence. I told you, I don't plan on being around for very long. I don't want this life anymore, you understand? I'll gladly throw it all away if I can take that bastard down with me. You don't have to die, Jacob. There has to be another way. It's nice of you to think of me like that. But Sarah, right now, it's your own safety that I'm concerned with. You know, I understand what you're going through. I know all about desperation, but you don't have to kill yourself by exacting revenge. He's already taken your family. Don't let him take you as well. I'm begging you, Jacob. Promise me you won't carry out your plan. This is madness. I can't stand the thought of him not getting what he deserves. I just can't let that happen. Jacob, promise me. I'm pleading with you. I'm sure Emily would have wanted you to live. I've already made my decision. Besides, I won't necessarily be shot down and killed. In 1967, Jack Ruby murdered Lee Harvey Oswald with a single bullet and still managed to make it out unscathed. Accordingly, if I do it fast enough, I might have a chance. A very slim chance, and you know it. I'll take the risk. Jacob, even if by some miracle you do succeed, then what? Prison? I guess so, but look on the bright side. The jury will probably be lenient. A husband goes mad following the loss of his pregnant wife, shoots culprit. The tabloids will have a field day. You'll probably die, Jacob. Maybe not. At least promise me to think about it. I'm sure that's what she would have wanted. Okay, I'll think about it, but I don't think it will change a thing. There's nothing more to say. Thank you, Jacob. My God. What? What's happening?
It's snowing.
You glance out the living room window. Beautiful, majestic snowflakes descend in the stillness of the fading day, blanketing the entire countryside. It's snowing here as well. How is that possible?
I don't know. But it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yes. You remain in the moment, fascinated by the wonder of it all. A fresh coat of milky white powder blankets the countryside, falling the way the leaves of autumn come slowly. The thermometer reads 32 degrees, holding steady for the time being. Listen, Jacob, I have something to tell you. It's important. You suddenly notice Emily's resting place, the budding tree you planted weighed down by the fresh fallen snow. A visceral fear invades your tranquility. The tree seems to be in jeopardy, heading for a place of no return, like when death looms on the horizon. My God, no. Emily! You rush to the attic and grab the longest extension cord you can find. You then reach for the portable heater, juggling the walkie-talkie as you go. The soreness in your leg comes flooding back, sending shockwaves through your body. And you clench your left thigh while looking at the ceiling, biting your tongue. Jacob, you still there? Not now, Sarah. I'll have to do something. What's going on? We'll explain it to you later. Your bad leg causes you to sway as you begin heading down the stairwell, hobbling with your hands full. Your left foot slips. You tumble down the steps, the talkie and heater landing towards the bottom of the stairs. You hit the ground hard, real hard, your head taking the brunt of it. You feel a warm sensation trickling down the side of your face. Before long, your vision blurs, and a dark veil begins to descend, darkening everything in its path. The fog slowly lifts, and in its place, an intense headache appears. Has it been a second, a minute, or an hour? You're not sure. A sticky substance seems to be holding your head to the parquet floor, acting like a bonding agent. Blood! It's blood! The wound above your left temple has a massive gash, and the flow is coming stronger now, your hair like clumps of humid underbrush. Emily! You rise hastily, and within a few seconds, an opaque, blurry shroud covers your vision. You sway from side to side, but manage to maintain your balance. You retrieve the heater from the bottom of the steps and notice its shell is cracked. The talkie went flying as well, and you realize the back of the handset is damaged where the batteries popped out. You glance at the clock. It's 7:45 p.m. Major, you've been unconscious for more than 30 minutes. You plug in the extension cord and power up the contraption. It works. The thermometer now reads 10 degrees and the wind hits you as soon as you open the door. You can't believe how cold it is. How can this be? It doesn't make sense to you. A pulsating leg pain, like a toothache radiating from your femur, accompanies you as you approach the budding oak tree. Blood drops accompany your footprints, one after the other, leaving a trail in the new fallen snow. A sudden dizziness causes you to fall. You land face down in a snowdrift. Unable to rise, you crawl on your elbows, dragging the heater by its wire. The tree is no longer visible. It's completely covered by a glistening carpet. You frantically sweep off the powder with your bare hands, freeing its branches. This little tree, on the verge of dying, is all you have left at this point, and its death is unbearable. You direct the breath of the heather towards the budding oak, the flakes melting on contact. The snow intensifies and you can't see a thing, or maybe you're about to faint, or maybe it's both. The lights go out and the pain subsides, nothing but numbness now. In the crunch of the snow, before long, you hear footsteps approaching. You suddenly awake, your blurred vision dispersing, and you're lying on the living room floor, logs crackling in the fire, and the confusion begins to wane. What happened? A grizzled, tired, worn-out voice emanates from the kitchen.
You've not been easy to drag, my friend. It's not a reasonable undertaking for a man my age.
Who are you, exactly?
I'm Scott Kellerman, your neighbor.
Scott Kellerman? Sarah's neighbor? You remember what she had told you? That this man was all but dead 30 years ago. He must have beaten the odds, probably in his 80s by now. Sorry for not plunking you on the couch. Holy shit, my friend. You weigh a ton. I'm surprised I managed as far as I did. But what happened? Rather, I should be asking you that question. I saw you from my window trudging your way through the snow. Saw this lunatic with blood everywhere, clenching an electric heater. Luckily, I was at the right place at the right time. Bloody hell, you almost bought the farm, partner. The pain in your head suddenly returns, sharp and intense, like a wave you thought had passed. You instinctively press your hand to your temple, feeling a rough bandage wrapped around your skull. I used some gauze from your medicine cabinet, but don't keep touching it. Nursing was never my strong suit. If you screw around with it, it might come undone, just like toilet paper. I noticed some blood at the bottom of the steps. I guess it's yours, right? I imagine you had a fall. I tumbled down the stairs, yes. You must have been in a hurry, to leave such a bloody mess. There's an old adage, he who is in a hurry does not arrive. Well, I have a new version for you. He who rushes too much arrives dead. Don't be offended, dear neighbor, it's just my way, but to see you advancing like a lunatic, zigzagging through the snow. Let's say you didn't exactly come across as playing with a full deck. By the way, I didn't clean any of the blood off the floor. At my age, just bending down doesn't come easy anymore. After dragging your ass back home, I'll be stiff for a week. Holding his back with one hand, Scott lets out a painful moan. Holy shit! I truly apologize for causing you any trouble. Yeah. You're Jacob, right? Yes, but how did you know that? I don't go out much anymore, but it's a small village. Everyone knows what happened. Regarding you and your wife, I mean. I'm sorry for what happened to you. It's appalling.
I offer my sincere condolences, neighbor.
Despite his age, Scott Kellerman still looks as sturdy as a rugged old farmhouse. His baritone voice hadn't faded with time, and it was oddly refreshing, an uncouth honesty with no pretension in it. By the way, what the hell were you doing out there? Bloodied and disheveled in the middle of a whiteout? You weren't even dressed for it. It has to do with Emily, my wife. The little tree in the yard marks her burial place, where I laid her to rest. When I saw the storm, I panicked. So I went to the attic to get a heater in order to warm its branches. And on my way back, I tripped and tumbled down the steps. So there you have it, a fool risking his life for a tree. But I don't care. It matters to me. A tree burial? I've never heard of such a thing. Well, I thought I had seen it all. I think it's gonna be okay. It's warming up outside. Your little tree, it's gonna be okay. That was one hell of a freak weather event. They said on TV it hadn't happened since '88. Same damn day too, 31 years to the day. And before that, never happened, not since they started keeping records. Can you believe that shit? I took the liberty of brewing myself a pot of coffee. Would you like a cup? Gladly. By the way, thanks for everything. That's what neighbors are for. And frankly, I couldn't have simply watched you die in the snow like a pathetic little puppy. Scott gives you a grin. You'll need to rest a while. Your head looks pretty bad. By the way, do you want some sugar in your coffee? Yes, please. Scott hands you a steaming cup of joe. I heard you were a writer, is that right? You definitely know a lot. What can I say, Dot? It's a small village, a very small community, and a newcomer is always big news. I was told that you write mostly horror stories, is that right? That's what I'm known for, but I'd like to branch out a little. although my agent says, you must always please the reader. Truth is, an author, like a painter or a singer, sometimes becomes a prisoner of their own style. Eminem releasing a reggae album probably wouldn't sell too well. Eminem releasing a reggae album? What the hell are you talking about, singing chocolates? Eminem, the rapper? Geez, never mind, it doesn't matter. Are you talking about one of those babbling artists? You know, one of those singers who can't hold a note, spewing words at breakneck speed? Is that what you call music? It takes nerve. Anyways, we're getting off topic. If you don't mind me asking, is your name really yours? It's really mine. I'm a king. Right, parallel names. Go figure. It reminds me of a guy here in town by the name of Jack. He's the owner of the Oakland Diner as soon as you drive into town. He owns a burger joint, and his name is McDonald. For crying out loud, Jack McDonald. I guess certain names are just written in the stars. Around here, we refer to him as Mickey D, which he hates, and his restaurant as Mickey D's, and that really pisses him off. Scott breaks into a gut-wrenching laugh. I can relate. I'm not always taken seriously myself. On the cover of my last book, my publishers saw fit to put my family name in gigantic letters. What a sham! I'm told you're quite talented. My wife, before passing away, would have loved your kinds of stories. She was passionate about everything related to fear. Quite frankly, I never really understood what all the fuss was about. Life is often sickening enough, just the way it is. But there's another side to things. Stories are more than mere entertainment. I believe by confronting our fears, it sometimes makes a person stronger. Maybe you're right. In my case, you see, I've never been afraid of much in life. That's probably why horror stories don't have much of an impact on me. But I have a question for you. I found that old walkie-talkie near the bottom of the stairs. You'll probably find my question a little strange, but was it here in the house when you moved in? Why this question? That's pretty incredible. It looks exactly like Kevin's old toy. He was a little boy who used to live here in the 80s, and he dragged that contraption around everywhere he went. I think it might have actually belonged to him. I wonder. Tell me, Jacob, where the hell did you find it? It was buried in the yard, in a metal box. In a metal box? Right. I remember now. Kevin buried everything, strange as that may sound. But why isn't the talkie in a state of advanced decomposition? It's been buried there for over 30 years. It doesn't seem plausible. In any case, did you break it, or did you find it like that? Scott points to the back of the device. I dropped it on the stairs. You think it's broken? No shit, Sherlock. You blind? It doesn't matter anyway. If that's actually Kevin's talkie, it shouldn't be working anymore. Not after all these years. That thing is just an old piece of junk at this point. You grab the talkie and evaluate the damage. The plastic on the back is split almost 10 centimeters wide. You press the on-off button a few times, but nothing happens. You hit the transmit switch and adjust the antenna, but get absolutely nothing. Shit. It's screwed up, Jacob. Do you think it's fixable? Fix that old talkie? Are you out of your fucking mind? You don't even have its counterpart. A single talkie is useless without its double. Besides, you can purchase a new one at the hardware store for next to nothing. I know, but I'd like to fix it anyway. I guess you have a thing for antiques. Well, in that case, I can probably patch it up relatively easily. In the 1970s, prior to becoming the sheriff, I worked in electronics. It's been a while, but I think I can tweak a thing or two. That said, antique or not, especially without its second counterpart, it doesn't have any real value anymore. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans. Listen, Scott, I can't tell you exactly why at this point, but I really need this specific handset. If you're able to fix it, I'd certainly appreciate it. I see. It shouldn't be a problem. It all depends on what you mean by quickly. I could probably fix it by, say, next week? Tomorrow would be better, if possible. I can pay you. A contemptuous grin appears on the old man's face. Listen, neighbor, if you bring up the subject of money, we're not going to be friends for very long. I don't need your charity. When you get to be my age, making good use of your time is paramount. The less we have of it, the more precious it is. I won't promise you anything by tomorrow, but let me see what I can do. Either way, without its counterpart, you won't have anything but static. It's all a little puzzling to me. Back where I come from, it makes about as much sense as tits on a bull. Tits on a bull? Something isn't adding up, my friend. You're not on the level with me. You're hiding something. I'll explain everything to you later. You're decidedly very mysterious, partner. You know, the family to which this belonged, the Williams, they suffered a disastrous fate. It's a relic of a very dark time. Really? More than you know. It was a lovely family back then. It all started with Kevin's illness. He began hearing voices, and before long he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Then the father committed suicide. And after that, out of nowhere, Sarah's boyfriend killed her in cold blood. Adding to the picture, the mother died a few years later. When misfortune strikes, it cuts to the bone. How do you know it was her boyfriend? Wait a minute, my friend. Why this question? I get the impression you know a lot more than you're letting on. Not at all. I told you, stop taking me for a fool. Save your spit, my friend. I wasn't born yesterday. First of all, you offer me cash, then you try to lie to me. What gives? Forgive me. You're right. Actually, it's for my next book. I'd like to base it on Sarah's story. A straight answer, finally. That wasn't so hard, was it? We don't know each other very well, Jacob, but you must know that I hate liars. Well, so you already know Jeff Johnson is going to be executed next week. The whole thing is going down next Thursday. He was found guilty for murdering Lisa Hall, his wife. At least, that's the official verdict. Why official? Because he got off without being convicted for murdering Sarah. So want that dirtbag to rot in hell. You know, my wife Kelly really loved Sarah. She loved her a lot. We never had any children, so Sarah was almost like a daughter to her. Everyone in the village knew well that Jeff was the culprit, but we never had enough evidence to bring him to justice. So we couldn't condemn shitbag. An unexpected tear rolls down the old man's face. I think that's what ended up killing my wife. Her heart couldn't handle the grief. We just couldn't prove Sarah was murdered by Jeff. A few years later, this scumbag married Lisa. Needless to say, I didn't attend the wedding. I did everything to dissuade her from marrying this guy, but nothing doing. I already knew he was a scumbag and a murderer, but I didn't think he'd be stupid enough to start this all over again. It makes little difference now. He'll soon have a one-way ticket to hell. I wish I could have spoken to him before the execution. Good grief, why? For my book, An Interview with the Killer, perhaps to understand his motives. I'll understand. Anyway, you probably already know that meeting a death row inmate on such short notice is impossible. Yes, I know. Theoretically, that is. Theoretically? As the former village sheriff, let's say my arm is long enough to touch my toes without bending over. Maybe I could arrange a visit for you. That would be great. I can't promise you anything, but I can promise to try. Just don't get too carried away with anything. How can I thank you? Don't worry, it's not money that I'm after. But if you want to thank me, I can make a suggestion. What's your suggestion? I'm not asking you for anything right now, but please stop playing me for a fool. Believe me, I would never do that. I've been a sheriff my whole life, and I know when something stinks. You're hiding something from me, that's obvious. I'll have a few questions for you when you're feeling better. I'm not a shit disturber, but I need to know what the fuck is going on here. You're right. I can't explain everything to you just yet. You'll have to trust me, Scott. The old man's darting eyes go straight through you, piercing your soul. It's the cool, icy, calculating stare of the Oakland sheriff. All right, my friend, I'll cut you some slack. To begin with, I'll try and fix your walkie-talkie as soon as possible. And secondly, Lil see what I can do about getting you an interview with Jeff. But we're running thin on time. He'll be pushing up daisies pretty soon. Scott watches you for a moment. Are you sure you're up for a conversation with Jeff? You look like a ragamuffin, my friend. I'm sure. At least secure those bandages on your head. You're like a fucking mummy coming unglued. Scott places his hand on his thigh, rising to his feet in considerable pain. Gonna be a mess tomorrow. Sore as hell. Holy shit. All week long thanks to you. He strides slowly but confidently towards the door. I'll call you later. Grasping the doorknob, he stops for a moment. You know, I also lost my wife almost 30 years ago, so I know about being lonely. She was my rock. I was seriously ill for almost 5 years with cancer. Aggressive pancreatic cancer, and according to my doctors, was a goner. Wouldn't have made it without her. They ended up sending me to palliative care. I didn't eat or drink for a good couple of weeks. I'm telling you, I was so emaciated that I looked like a fucking skeleton. Had I been out in the sun, vultures would have been circling above, looking for a meal. Kelly stayed by my side day and night, and after 13 days, on the 2nd of June 1989, for no apparent reason, I suddenly came back to life. That morning, I just sat there on the edge of my bed, awestruck. You should have seen my doctor's face when he saw my x-rays. There was nothing left. The cancer had vanished, just like that. It was gone. I must have seen a dozen doctors in the days to follow. They gave me one fucking test after another. A practitioner came all the way from New York just to examine me. I was in total remission. Just between you and me, I was at peace to have reached the end of my story. I never imagined I was coming out of this, and for reasons I'll never know, my epilogue decided to lengthen. My oncologist called me the Miracle Cowboy. I was sent home and Kelly spent all her time crying, tears that just kept coming. In my entire life, I had never seen Kelly so grateful. She spent all her time thanking little Jesus. I said to her, "Leave the Blessed Redeemer out of this. If he wanted to work miracles, he'd have taken care of all those kids in the pediatric ward. Instead, he allowed this old, tired carcass to go on living. I'll never know why. I can't stand those bleeding hearts that say, God moves in mysterious ways."
Fucking stupid phrase.
The old man's lips, streaked with deep wrinkles, broadened just a little. He allowed himself a slight grin. And it showed a hint of tenderness behind the strong, windblown facade, or at least a glimpse of it. My poor Kelly, she had it rough. I mean, the fucking date had been in the works for my funeral. It was the only thing still pending other than my demise, the final nail in my coffin. When I came out of remission, she was so happy, ecstatically happy. She even decided to plan a bloody cruise. It was one of her dreams, a luxury cruise together. But plunking my skinny white ass on a giant cruise liner, if truth be told, isn't exactly my thing. Especially since each time I set foot on a ship, I regularly chuck my cookies when nobody's watching. But that cruise thing was so important to her, I just didn't have the heart to turn her down. Scott's face suddenly sinks. Then, a week before we're scheduled to depart, Kelly died of a sudden heart attack. She had never been sick a day in her life. It should have been me. That's the way I see it, the way it was meant to be. That I'd be the first to go. So my world suddenly got turned upside down. Sometimes life has a sense of humor. I really don't. Appreciate, not in the least. In any case, all this to tell you that one, understand what you're going through. At least I think so.
In the meantime, get some rest, my friend.
A cold silence permeates the room as soon as Scott closes the door. Thoughts of Sarah come flooding in. Time is running short. Emily's resting place will have to wait. It's what she would have wanted, to take care of the living. Time is of the essence. You get up too quickly, and you narrowly avoid falling by leaning against the mantelpiece. As you glance outside, you notice a dark figure bustling about in the woods. The open light on the porch reveals a silhouette hunched over in the distance. It's Scott. He's fussing with the little oak tree, aiming the heater's breath towards the stunted branches. The snowfall ceases as the temperature rises, and you hear ice water dripping from the awning. You catch a glimpse of it, the water flowing in long, steady streaks, similar to strands of dark filament. You're touched by Scott's gesture as you walk hesitantly towards the bathroom. You glance at yourself in the mirror, a reflection that would scare a blind man. Son of a bitch. It's exactly what Scott would have said, and now you're the one saying it. Blackened eyes and a pale complexion, dried blood speckled on your cheeks. Worse, the ill-fitting bandage rolls over and exposes a gaping gash. An asylum escapee. After a warm bath, you replace the bandages. In the misted glass, your face is looking slightly better, but just barely. A mix of purple and black reveal long carved circles under your eyes. And no wonder you haven't been able to sleep since Emily's passing, the incident holding you hostage night after night. Walking down the hallway, you hear the sound of a raspy guitar, and you aren't sure where it's coming from, like the radio was on. You search the house without finding the source, but it becomes amplified as you approach the living room window. It's getting dark outside, the sun fading fast behind the mountains. As you peer across the yard, you notice something there between the pine trees. A light is emanating in the distance, soft and serene. It's a porch light, and the old man is sitting in his rocking chair strumming his guitar, and the sound is drawing you in. You open the window to hear Scott play. It rises in the distance, the entire area submerged in haunting melancholy. It's Scott singing a little ditty, and it's wonderful, straight from the heart. Your thoughts return to Sarah, and then to Scott. Tomorrow, if he's unable to fix it, communication with Sarah will be indefinitely terminated. Repairing the talkie is imperative. Fiery embers glow beneath the crackling logs. Dying ever so gently, a shiver comes over you, like the breath of a premonition. Or was it just the temperature dropping? You immediately stoke the fire with another log, stirring it with the poker. Timid flames start licking up the bark as though lapping up a drink of water, the blaze rising higher and higher. As you make your way to the couch, you bump your leg, the bad one, against the pedestal of the sofa, and it causes your eyes to water. Holding it while resting on the couch, you contemplate your prison interview. If Scott's influence still carries the kind of weight he suggested, he just might be able to get you a visitation pass. But to what end? What exactly can you extract from Jeff? He never admitted to Emily's murder, but sometimes death's proximity can encourage a confession. Anyway, it's the only card left in your deck, and if Scott isn't able to repair that damn talkie, everything will be as pointless as pissing in the wind.
Please take me home.
Exhaustion washes over you, and the hypnotic effects of the fire cause your alertness to wane, and you fall asleep while sitting upright. A soft, milky white light enters the bedroom, and you suddenly awake. Are you in your bed or some place else? A citrus scent lingers playfully in the air, and all the pain and heartache, all of it, physically and emotionally, fade into nothingness. A hand delicately caresses your shoulder, drawing you in. In the small of your back, you feel the bulge of her rounded belly. Neither the accident nor the talkie exists anymore. Emily isn't dead. Sarah never existed. You bathe in the moment of blissful peace and genuine happiness. You gently take her hand. Turning to hug Emily is when you feel a warm liquid sliding down your face. It's too thick for tears. It then drizzles down your neck and into your chest. She's lying by your side, her body soiled in a puddle of warm blood. Her swollen face is exaggerated, and she stares directly into your eyes, right through them, as if you weren't even there, as if you didn't exist. The vision plunges you towards dread. Her mouth becomes a howling abyss. In a snarled, raspy voice, Emily roars. Save her, Jacob. Save her. It jolts you from your sleep violently, and you remain motionless, afraid to move, waiting for the footing to stabilize. You're back on the living room sofa, the flames ebbing in the darkness. The phone rings. You immediately recognize Scott's voice. My friend, I have some good news for you. The director in charge when took my retirement is still on duty at Ethan Moore Prison. You have an audience with Jeff tomorrow at 2 p.m. Thank you 1,000 times over, you really came through. If you want to thank me, I already told you, one selfless action calls for another. So just tell me what the hell is going on. That's compensation enough. If not today, if not now, then soon. It sounded more like a strict order than a request. I will soon enough, I promise you. And thanks, Scott, I mean it. It was still there. The room the way it was before the phone rang. The same stillness, a piercing silence now amplified by the humming of the refrigerator. You suddenly get a flash, an idea, as though a bulb had gone off. Without the talkie, you have no way of communicating with Sarah, but the reverse doesn't apply on her side. Sarah, from her end, can most certainly communicate with you. You rush to the attic and head straight for the floor plank. You feverishly slide your arm into the opening beneath the floorboard, and your heart skips a beat when you feel a sheet of paper with your fingertips. After removing it to your heart's delight, you see the writing. Where are you, Jacob? Would love to talk with you again. If we're not able to get in touch, Elle sincerely hope you have a wonderful life. But I'm pleading with you, please give up your plans for revenge. It won't bring Emily back. The culprit may deserve to die, but you certainly don't. I really care about you. P.S. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I don't think Jeff is guilty. End of day 3.